Okay, you're recording. Yeah, welcome everybody.
God, I wasn't ready. Gosh dang. Oh, we're started.
We've started. Alright, so before we continue on, in the
This
last
is the same day, by the way, guys.
don't ruin it.
It's not the same day, guys.
Now you have to restart.
I'm wearing a different jumper.
And to be fair though, these pants, I wore them yesterday as well, so.
Ooh.
So yeah, in theory, I could just be wearing the same clothes 2 days in a row. Disgusting. But
Oh, goodness me.
in the previous episode, I mentioned about like gaming chairs and that, right? And looking at this, it reminded me. You know the thing that confuses me most about gaming chairs?
It's what they're meant to be.
It's these things.
Yeah,
The
what are they
little
meant to
thing-
be for?
No, but also, I can sort of understand the pad at the top here for your head, but why the heck have you got a bloody pillow, thick, hard pillow for your back?
From memory, that thing was meant to be ergonomic.
I don't know, but like, you'd think you'd design the chair so it curves with the spine as well. If you're going to pay an extra couple $100 for a gaming chair,
Also, Troy,
like, why does it have to have a specific pillow for it that's adjustable or can be taken off?
can't believe you didn't notice this, but I had a haircut.
Yeah. Congratulations.
That's my highlight of the week, actually, no.
I didn't actually notice.
I've actually heard a really good highlight. Weekly highlights.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
It's kind of funny because the past few episodes,
Okay.
we've talked a lot about cars and traffic, and I got to see a car crash.
Okay.
It was really
Oh,
Those who don't know what we're laughing at that so much for, please check out the last episode.
You get I don't think that we really clarified in the episode, but
Fine.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, so
Continue.
I mean, it wasn't that exciting, but it was like the first time I actually got to see one happen, and it was very minor, but at the same time, I enjoyed it, and I got a bit of a cheer out of it for some
Okay,
reason.
that's good, because when you said I got to see a car crash, I was sitting there going,
It was like 110 k's.
yeah, but,
No, it wasn't.
like, why are you excited about that?
No, because you always see the cars pull over the side of the road with their danger lights on or whatever. But
Oh,
this
okay.
one actually happened in front of me, and it was pretty lame because I was in the middle
pretty
lane.
lame.
I was in the middle lane, and in the right lane next to me, there's a little turn in the middle lane where you turn right to go into the street or do a U-turn.
Yep.
There was a van that was well in their right to go in that lane to turn right because that's what they were doing. However, this car in front of me to the right thought, "Oh, last second, I'm going to change lanes into turn right here."
No.
And of course, that
Did they go into the back or the side of someone?
side.
Yeah, okay, so
So
they
the van went to the side of the car that tried to sneak in.
I see. Wait, so
So the van was equally in its right, or in the turning right lane. This car in this lane was like, "Oh, I could probably turn
cut
right here."
across.
Yeah, and they just didn't even look.
Oh, okay.
And of course, the van had a big bull bar, whatever, and yeah, nice back.
So did the van hit the back of the other car side
Yeah, so
or the
yep,
side?
so like that.
Okay, because the annoying thing about that is they could technically claim, if there's no dash cam footage, they could claim that the van hit them even
Yeah.
though they swerved into their lane.
But like, it was completely like the lady just like made a snap decision. I can just see,
Oh,
and I'm like, that could have easily been avoided.
Was that to go into a turning lane?
Yes,
Oh,
even because
I
the traffic was standstill basically.
I hate that. I hate
And it
people
made me
that-
laugh a lot because I'm like, ha 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 ha.
Look,
ha.
if you've missed your turn or your turn's coming up and you're not going to make it,
Wait for the next
just
one.
keep driving.
Yeah.
Turn at the next turn. Do a U-turn. Don't try and cut across. The amount of people who panic turn, and they always end up in car accidents.
Yep.
Oh, it's driving every time. It's happened so many times. I've seen people like they really. Oh, my turn. I'm in the right lane. Oh, my turn's coming up in like 200 meters. I better cut across
Get ready.
every single lane. Instead of like carefully trying to get across, and if you don't make it, you don't make it. Just U-turn, or take the next exit.
You know what that reminds me of? I'm pretty sure you know. You know that Family Guy bit? There's the Asian driver. Okay, I changed lane now. Good luck, everyone. She just works across all the
I
lines.
do remember that. Yes.
It's like half of these people in real life are doing that.
That reminds me of the Distractable episode where they were talking about people in California. I'll just go around.
Yeah, I'll just go around.
I can't believe that's
That's not just the
something.
California. That has
I
to be
can't
just
believe
a-
that's something that occurs I was going to say specifically in that state in
I
America.
don't think that's just that thing though. I think that's just a people thing.
I just don't understand how people like. No one in Australia does that, and when people do it here, man, do they get ripped into?
I mean, I do it, but like not when it's like terrible situation where there's heaps of cars.
Look, I'll drive around a guy if he's turning or something,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
if they're just stopped,
Yeah.
completely stopped,
Yeah.
unless they're stopped for a good 5 minutes.
Then you might.
I'm not going to go around them. Like, I'm going to wait and see. Or I'm going to look first and go, oh, there's a car accident up ahead. Or there's traffic stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to go, I'll just go around it.
I'll just go around. Yeah, so that was part of my highlight. So, but
then when I turned around,
when he turned around, he crashed. No, so the other thing too was it's a weird highlight because on Thursday I had Thursday off, so I had a nice long sleep, about 9 hours sleep, and then on Thursday night I had about 5 hours sleep, 6 hours sleep.
Oh, that's
but
fun.
I woke up feeling awesome,
You can.
and that's how
If you do it right.
Yeah, I have to know what I did right.
So have you ever slept right? I've slept until I've only gotten 5 hours sleep. But the thing is, let's say I'm starting work at 7:30, right? But I'm so used to getting up at 4:30. I will wake up at 4:30 and or 5 o'clock, and I will feel completely refreshed, and I'll be like, wow, I'm fully awake.
I'm brand new.
I've only gotten 3 hours sleep, and I feel amazing. What's going on? I still got 2 hours. I'll sleep for another 2 hours. 2 hours later, oh my god, what the fuck happened? What?
Jeez.
What happened? I was fine 2 hours. I was ready to go. There is such a thing as oversleeping, and I do it quite often. In fact, I think I did it a little bit
So
today.
how do you feel when you oversleep though? You just don't feel any better,
You feel almost worse than if you were underslept.
right?
So you don't feel tired, but you have a really massive headache. And that's to do with believe it or not, the chemical that causes you to feel tired and feel sleepy, right? When you, because that slowly builds up in your system. I forget what it's called, but it slowly builds up to the point where you get tired. And coffee is is not a suppressant, but it fills the gaps where this chemical. So where this where this hormone, I think it's a hormone.
Yeah, hormones, right? Yep.
Where this hormone sort of connects and sort of tells your body to be tired, where the receptors are for that, the coffee chemical takes play, like the caffeine takes that position. So because the stuff can't bond to your body or your brain or wherever it occurs, you don't feel tired, and that's why coffee doesn't make you feel tired.
Yeah.
But the thing is, when you oversleep, right, sometimes your body can remove too much of this stuff, or I'm not sure how it occurs, but basically when you oversleep, it actually ruins your makes you feel more tired in some ways.
Yeah, right. Okay.
And that's what causes the headache. It's sort of like how being caffeine deprived causes a headache. It's the exact same kind of headache.
Okay. So, do you have a highlight then?
The highlight of the week. I do. It was last night. Did we talk about that?
That's right. Yeah,
We talked about that. Oh, we already talked about that's the only. Yeah, that's the only highlight for this week. Was still that laughing my guts out at the stupidest thing.
Yeah, it was so entertaining. But yeah, I kind of agree because I think Ralph or Turbo said it like, this is really hard. Like, yeah, you're not wrong. Because and then they brought up like, oh, this is what your podcast is all about.
Oh,
isn't it?
no, I got another highlight.
Here we go.
But it's to do with the same thing. So you know Rocket League, right?
Yes.
I hadn't sent it to you yet.
Do I know?
And it's not quite. It shouldn't be a highlight at this point, but I was able to get a double flip reset on
double
purpose.
Oh, nice.
I've been able to do it really well. In fact,
Jealous, Jen?
In fact, I might send you one. I was able to get a ceiling shot flip reset.
Right.
Double. So I got both, right? So you hit the ball, drive at the ceiling, go down. You've got your flip reset. I used that to stall midair, get another flip reset, and I think
that's amazing.
And I hit it right.
Yeah,
so I was able to do that, but I was also able to do a simple, hit the ball up, air dribble, get the flip reset, then stall, then get the second flip reset and hit the ball again. It didn't go on a goal. I went the goal's here. The ball went. It went the other way.
That's right.
But I was just stoked that I was actually able to do a mid-air stall.
You see the controller, I guess now, yeah.
And you know the funny thing, right? Because I've been wondering how people are able to get multiple flip resets and that. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I know it's a stall. I know you stall mid-air, but how do you actually do a stall, right? And
so it's flip cancelling.
I just YouTubed it. Went to
okay.
I forget what the guy's video is. That I always go to this guy's videos, but he always does. He used to always do tutorials, and his tutorials aren't the best. And he said his tutorial, it was basically just air roll and turn left and flip at the same time.
Right. Okay.
And I'm sitting there going,
air roll.
I've done that. I've done that plenty of times. That's not how you stall. I'm pretty sure that's not. There's got to be something more to it. I'm watching. I'm like, okay, so it is that. And I go, and I'm like, all right, well, he's stalling just in position. He's jumping and stalling. He's jumping and stalling. And I go, okay, well, let's practice doing that. And after 3 attempts, I did it. And I'm like, wait, it's not that easy. And then I'm driving around and I do a little air roll and stall mid-air. And I'm like, okay, that's And I'm going, wow, this is easier than I thought. Because I was able to do it in the past.
Yeah.
I just didn't know how I did it. I thought you had to be in a certain position, but it turns out you just got to do all three things at the exact same time.
That's the thing, like in games when there's techniques to do things that aren't really considered normal. Like there's techniques like stalling. Like
It's so
it
easy.
sounds scary,
It's so
daunting,
easy.
but like
I
feel like I stall a lot on accident.
You probably do. I've done it plenty of times.
Because when I go to half flips, I feel like I do stall a lot because I do the input too early or something.
Ages ago, I was able to do it really well in the in the after credit, like when you win the little after thing.
Oh, yeah.
I was able to do it really well then,
50
but I
score.
had no idea how I was doing it. I just was able to do it, but then I couldn't figure out how to do it in game,
Yeah.
so I gave up. So yeah, now I can do it really well, and some of the stuff that I've seen people do with it, it's amazing. But yeah, so
Fair
that was
enough.
it, getting double flip reset after like only probably 20 attempts. I was quite happy with that. I will send you a video of it when I get a goal with it.
Oh yeah, well yeah, and then shove it into Jan's face because
Yeah, I will shove it in Jan's face. I was tempted to send it to the group chat, like showing the one, but I'm like, no, I'll send one when I actually get a goal.
Yeah. I'm gonna do a little housekeeping quickly before we get into things. We mentioned briefly at the end of the last episode, but housekeeping. I'm gonna use that a lot more for post production stuff. I'm looking at a MIDI keyboard for those looking at it. I had to play around it yesterday. There's a drum pad you can use in the top corner, so I'm gonna try.
Oh, that's cool. Where did you get this?
So our brother-in-law gave it to me.
Our brother. Oh, really?
Bought
Why did he give it to me?
because
When did he give it to you?
I'm musically gifted,
Oh,
Troy.
You're not musically gifted. You think you're musically gifted.
I don't.
You're
actually.
musically sound.
Thank you. Yes.
You know how to play a couple of things, and that's it.
Well, I can take notes.
Next, you'll be telling me you're Japanese gifted too.
Oh man, I wish.
Because you know arigato.
Oh yeah, and Ohio.
That's
So yeah, so the idea was to use for
Kola.
when we mentioned our highlights, I'd play a little tune, and I was going to record a little tune for that.
That is brilliant. I'm actually going to pick that up again. So it's actually got Oh, I've
Yeah,
gotta show on the
snare,
camera.
drums, crash, hi hats, low hats.
But I mean, just
bass.
this.
Yeah, yeah, basically.
That's cool. And you got
Basically.
When did he give you this?
He gave it to me before he went to the work.
Oh, wow. Oh, I love these. The
Yeah,
little
transpose and octaves. Yeah.
Oh, these ones. Oh, that one bounces back. That one doesn't, which is
No,
nice.
that's transpose, which I think
They're
is
both transposed. I think one of them. If
channel
flicks,
1, channel
one
2
of them
maybe.
Flicks, no, one of them flicks back. The other one doesn't.
Oh, so it stays there.
Yeah, so it goes wow.
Oh, okay. I didn't really
Well,
play
this
that
one will
much.
go wow.
Yeah, that one will.
Yeah.
So MIDI keyboards, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm
If
very
you
happy
could
with that.
if you could map the buttons, you
No,
wouldn't need
I
a
have.
Steam Deck. Also, haven't you got a Steam Deck?
I do, but I don't use it because I just don't.
Okay, but
So I don't stream enough. That's the problem.
okay, but I'm confused. If you've got the Steam Deck, why would you need that?
I mean, I had the Steam Deck way before I got that. So yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Okay, but you were saying you were going to use this, weren't you? Why not just use the Steam Deck?
Well, the thing is, you have to use that to record the music first.
So you're going to use that to record the music, then put it on the Steam Deck?
So I'll play and record music.
Couldn't you set this up so that even those buttons over there,
They
could become the sounds?
Yeah, basically.
Instead of the drum.
Maybe, yeah.
Surely you could program it.
You could. I don't know how, but I'm not. That's too complicated.
Anyway, you were saying about this.
Yeah, so I'm going to use that for hopefully in post.
For this.
So like when we go to our highlights, and you will hear a tune. Jackson, did you record the tune?
Are you gonna? Oh,
Jackson?
you're gonna do a tune.
Jackson. Okay, maybe
Play
not.
my theme music.
Because the other thing too was right. So
You need to say Lixia.
remember how we had the storytime segment?
Yes.
I was gonna do like a backing for the storytime thing. So like storytime with AI, and then have like a little piano thing. And the thing was like newsflash, and if I read something from the news, I put like in a newsflash sort of sound. Same thing with the highlight, etc., etc.
It's not bad. What I was thinking of, so
It's extra work, but
I've been at work, right, and I've been whistling a tune, right, and I've been whistling, but I've been whistling. What was it? It was
that's gonna work so well in the audio.
I botched that completely.
It's just
I was whistling the
tune.
snap theme, right?
Right. Ah, okay.
But I realized I was doing it at work, and I realized it sounded really terrible at work. And I'm like, I got to get better at this, because that way, what if somebody actually
Steals that
recognized
tune?
it? No, recognized it.
Recognizes. Okay. I mean, that sounds awfully niche, but yeah, I guess that's the thing when you're whistling.
Oh no,
tunes.
it was That was better. It still didn't sound anything like it, but I sort of knew I was trying to do it, whereas the first attempt, I just kind of was like, I'm just whistling at this point.
Oh gosh. Anyway.
It's the
Okay, I'm not
See,
familiar
even-
with the
even-
theme, to be honest, but okay, it does sound like a plausible song.
enough.
Yeah. So another reason why you came to tell is that you're coming on holidays.
Yes.
So you're looking forward to the holidays? You're looking forward to it?
Yes and no. I don't really want to get on the plane, frankly.
It's a long way to walk
I'm having
otherwise.
bad feelings.
He got bad feelings.
Although that's because of the lack of sleep as well. I woke up yesterday and I was like, wow. Like the day before, I was like really worried about flying and something happening.
Is it an early flight or late flight?
It's their early flight.
Okay.
And I'm sitting there going, today I feel perfectly fine. I really got to stop drinking coffee
Yeah.
and getting more sleep because they're both starting to affect me and I'm starting to get paranoid about stuff.
I mean,
Hence why I'm organising my will with my mother so she can get all my stuff.
oh my gosh, Trey.
I swear, like, it doesn't make sense. If you don't have a will, wouldn't it all go to your next of kin?
Yes.
Then why is it
I think so. I
Why
don't
is she telling me that
I
it
don't know.
goes to the government?
It's just when it comes to the courts, I think that's when it happens.
I think they actually do
Or the
take
lawyers.
a percentage, though, if you don't write
the
a
family.
will.
Yeah.
So, but it's like 20% or something,
Yep.
which
Yep.
is no good. No good at all.
So you're going up to the Whit Sundays, which I keep getting confused.
We're gonna
mixed up with
spend
the
we're
Whit
gonna
Sundays
spend 2 days and 1 night on a boat, and
Oh,
we're
you
gonna have
really?
spend 2 days at a hotel, and then another 2 days at a hotel, and then Courtney's gonna go skydiving. I think she's gonna go skydiving on the last 2 or 3 days. I'm not sure.
Yeah, right.
Last 2 days, but yeah, I still got to sign the waiver for snorkeling.
Oh yeah. See, I've never been up that way. I have been to Queensland. Like I've done Cairns a lot of times, but not that far.
We were originally going to go to Cairns, but Courtney wanted to go to Whit Sundays for our honeymoon, and she realised, oh, we could just go there. I'm sitting there looking at the price and that, going, oh yeah, that's pretty good. I'd rather go on a cruise though, but I don't have a passport.
Oh, okay, so Whit Sundays is not okay. Never mind. Yeah. Okay, I see what Whit
Yeah,
Sundays
it's
are.
islands just off the
Yeah,
coast.
near Mackay.
Yeah, correct.
Oh, it's just between Mackay and Townsville. Okay, yeah, because I've only done Cairns and yeah, Gold Coast. That's about it.
Fair enough.
But yeah, hopefully it's nice for you. I'm sure. When was the last time you had a holiday? It was your honeymoon, wasn't it?
We didn't technically, yes.
So that wasn't much of a.
I mean, we went to Geelong because it was lockdown. So
Yeah, that's true.
I wouldn't really call it. We got to stay at a few places, got to go to the water park. Although, if I'd known that the Geelong water park wasn't heated, I would have gone to Gumby World since it's a lot closer. But I've already been there.
Yeah,
So we
okay.
wanted to try the Geelong water park.
Yeah, well, hopefully you enjoy it. I was gonna say with the plane stuff, try fall asleep.
What, for
Try
the 3
sleep.
hours?
Yeah,
I wasn't planning on
because
sleep.
if you're
I'm not worried about, like, once I'm in the plane, I'm not going to be worried or anything or concerned. Especially once we take off on there, I'm not concerned about flying itself.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
concerned something's going to go wrong flying.
Yeah, no, I had that paranoid, but then there's a good friend I knew back in Adelaide who was a pilot, and he said they've done all the tests in the world, nothing can go wrong.
Oh, I don't. That's where you're wrong.
Yeah.
Something can always go wrong.
I suppose.
but very
Even errors
unlikely.
always involved. Yeah.
But it's not even the flying itself. Like when Courtney first organised the holiday, I'm like, wait, we're getting on a sailboat, and like a little sailboat. I'm like, who else is on the boat with us? Who are these people? And I instantly, I'm like, so what if someone murders me? What if there's some serial killer on the boat who just
Someone
kills everyone?
murders.
And then I started thinking, we're snorkeling. What if there's going to be a shark in the water? It's warmer waters. It's in Queensland.
Oh, goodness
Every
me.
possible thought of something going wrong, I started. Well, not every, but a bunch of things.
All
I
the
started
scenarios
thinking
that could
going wrong.
happen.
Even a car accident came to mind. Not even for that. Just on
driving
the
to
way-
the airport.
No, not even that. Just within the next couple of weeks, I had gotten 5 hours sleep, like 7 or 5 days in a row, or 5 to 4 hours, and it was just starting to take its toll. And because you'll love this, right?
Go
So
on.
because I wasn't getting much sleep, and because I was paranoid, I started thinking, what if something's wrong with my brain?
Well, Troy, how you got all day?
Well, no, I joke about that, but there's this guy. There was this a shooter in America, right? This was years ago. I forget what it's called. But he was on a tower. He went up to a tower and started shooting basically just random people.
You're right.
I forgot it was one of their biggest mass shootings.
Right.
But the thing is, the guy was perfectly normal weeks prior, but then apparently something went wrong in his head.
Ah.
And even he wrote on a letter like, can once I'm gone, please check my brain because something doesn't feel right. Because he started fantasizing about shooting people. Like he looks up at this tower and he goes, that would be a really nice place to shoot a bunch of people. And even he's sitting there going, why am I having these thoughts? And it drove him to the point where he had to do it.
To get him out.
Yeah, and the sad thing is, I think he shot his wife and kid before he went and did it.
Oh wow!
But he wrote in a letter before the shooting that if once they check his body, once he's dead, because he knew he was going to get killed, like people were going to retaliate and fire back. But he wrote a little letter saying, I don't know what happened. I just started having these thoughts. Can you please, if my body's still intact or my brain's still intact, check. And he had some sort of tumor in a particular part of his head.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That they reckon was causing these urges and these thoughts.
Yep. It's just savage.
So things can go wrong in people. So if you suddenly have thoughts of murder and other things, go get yourself checked.
There is help out there, I guess, yeah.
And if you start having paranoia things, go get yourself checked or start getting more sleep.
Yeah, probably the latter.
Because it does help getting sleep. I've been slack with sleep lately.
But you haven't thought to kill anyone, have you?
I've always been slack with sleep. No.
I mean, that's true. I've also been very slack with sleep.
If I'm going, I'm taking you with me.
Okay. No. Okay. No, because the thing is, like, the sleep, if I look at my jobs for the days, I go, so Monday night, okay, I got a 7 o'clock start. I could probably stay up awake till 11. That's fine. And then sometimes I'll go over that and go, oh, yeah, it's okay, 11:30, yeah. But it was once at 12, like, okay, I need to go to bed.
It doesn't help that I said like even the other day, I've been saying, all right, it's 3 o'clock, or I've gotten home, it's 3 o'clock, or it's 3:30. I'll play Rocket League for an hour and a half, and that way I won't play later on. So I'll play for 2 hours instead. Then I'll stop for a while, and then I'll come back on. I'll go, I'll just play around for half an hour, and that's when you and Kyle, as soon as I go online, invite me to party up, and then 4 hours later, it's
that
bloody
was nuts.
It's 10 o'clock at night. I'm like, oh goodness, I was supposed to go to bed an hour ago. Now I can't go to bed without doing something first. Like I can't stop playing and then go to bed and try and go to sleep. It's annoying.
That's what friends are for.
Even last night, when we stopped playing at 10 o'clock, right?
Yeah, you came back on late and played. I
did for half an hour. I was like, I turned off the computer and everything, and I was lying in bed reading with my laptop, reading a manga, and then I went, I still want to play around a little. So I turned the computer back on and played for another half an hour till like 11:30. Then read for another 2 hours. I went to bed I went to bed at 1 o'clock last night.
Wow, is that all? Do you mind trying to put the microphone in front of you? I wonder if that'll make it much different.
Make it in front of me.
Because if you're facing me, just put it in
Oh, you mean across?
Yeah, like that.
You mean like this?
Yeah, so I reckon that'll help capture.
I look better. Look sexier. Sexy mic time.
So yeah, I think
do the emo hair because I didn't wash it this morning.
You call that emo? Well, you have the. I can't actually.
You don't have any hair. Remember?
I know.
You cut
That's
it all
right.
off.
I had a haircut.
Actually, I'm surprised with how long it's gotten.
Yeah, well, that's why I had a cut because it was getting annoying.
You know what I've noticed, right? So as I've been getting older, my hair has been growing slightly, taking longer and longer to grow.
That'll happen.
And I know that's normal, but it still feels odd to me that it's getting.
Well, I'll tell you what isn't slowing down. Your beard hair.
It won't stop.
Well, did that or because you're not?
I could have sworn I shaved this like a week ago. Is at least when was it? It was a good.
If you too have hair growing problems, contact someone.
You know where I'm not growing hair? My butthole. I don't have to pinch it and pull it out.
Okay.
Well, I'd still. Do you wipe? Do you at least wipe?
Time
now?
for another piano insert here. Poo update.
Oh my goodness.
I got poo on my thumb.
Don't we all? Hey, if we've learned anything, it's that Poo Talk gets all the views.
It gets the laughs.
You want to hear an interesting subject? Well, let's talk about shit. No, I legit want to know, because you never answered my question. So I know you do the pincer thing to pull it out from like the hair around your bum.
So
do you still wipe afterwards though? Do you grab another piff and wipe?
Well, I guess because when... I hate that I'm getting back into this.
Don't worry, it's a quick question. We're not getting back
I guess part of the pinching is a wiping sort of thing because...
Okay, that's gross. That's all I needed to hear.
No, okay.
Done. You're disgusting.
Yeah, thanks.
Get out
you
of
stand
here.
up. How dare you? What are you doing? You're weird.
No,
although you have potty pots that
that's
you go
right.
into, so
Well,
I guess that's understandable.
I stood up to begin with. It's more comfortable.
Are you a stander or are you a sitter?
I don't understand people who wouldn't, like people who don't stand, because the toilet has had, especially public toilets, has had so many people sitting on it. Why would you want to do that and reach around and get your hand touching possibly the
Well,
bowl?
that's why there's soap there, hopefully.
Yes, well,
Hopefully, I say.
still, well, it's not even that. You want to keep yourself as clean as possible.
Yeah,
It's more
exactly.
hygienic.
Hygienic.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So, yeah, okay. All right. Well, yeah, I got, like I
So-
said.
The other thing I wanted to talk about was the ashes.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that because that was my subject. But yeah, I like you getting into the ashes.
We'll get into that first, then we
Let's
can
get
get
in the
onto
ashes.
the
Yeah,
actual
no, let's do the
subject.
ashes because I feel like
I don't want to talk that much about the ashes.
No,
I hate
it's just
cricket.
one particular incident that everyone knows by now.
Yes, the guy.
Johnny Bairstow,
Is that his name? Is that the British
England
guy?
wicketkeeper,
Yeah. Oh.
walks out of his crease, and the Australian wicketkeeper throws his stumps down.
Oh, was he the English wicketkeeper as well?
Yes, that's what they know, and that's
Oh,
remember.
well, that would explain it. He didn't know how to He didn't know how to bat properly.
Well, wicketkeepers are meant to have like a funny old playstyle where they are aggressive.
His
but-
reaction when it happened,
Yeah.
he just looks back like, "What?"
What? What did I do?
So help me out here, Jackson.
Yes,
'cause
okay.
I watched that Piers Morgan video.
Yeah, oh, great,
And all
yeah.
the others and
I'm
other
glad you did.
videos and stuff like that. So the guy, he it was the end of the over.
It was about to be, yes.
About to be the end of the over, but the umpires hadn't called. They hadn't whistled.
They haven't. No, they didn't call for over.
So
when
the
they
umpire's
say over, they
supposed
say over.
So
and
they
that's
call
it.
for over, and that's when everyone sort of goes back
Yeah,
to the.
and
So
then-
it's like
yeah.
a timeout kind of thing.
Yeah,
Like NBA
yeah.
timeout.
Basically, it's the
Okay.
break between. Overs.
So the umpires didn't call over, but
Yep.
they were right at the very end of it.
Yep.
And the British guy, he ducked.
English guy, yes.
And English guy.
Yep.
Same
thing,
no,
same thing,
I
same
should
thing,
say
I guess.
British just to piss them off, shouldn't I?
That's all right. I don't think we've got that many.
He
viewers
knows
listen
it's
to
going.
it.
He knows the over's coming. He knows it's
Yeah.
they're going to walk back.
He's
So
got
he
to
does.
assume.
So he does this foot slide thing to indicate that.
Yeah.
So he indicates that he's finished, and then walks out of his box.
Yes.
And I assume the box is basically
The
where
crease.
the
That's-
batter's crease.
You have to be your foot or your bat has to be behind the crease.
Okay, so you're supposed to, because what the Australian guy said in that little interview thing is that everyone in Australia knows that you put the bat behind the crease.
Yes. Yeah.
So if he'd just put his bat down as well, would that have counted?
He has to hold on to it though. He has to make sure he's holding on to the bat
Okay, but when he puts the bat down, does that
on the ground.
Does that mean he's finished? He's saying he's done.
No, basically.
Okay.
Oh, so the general when there's an over, you're meant to keep your bat in your hand on the behind the crease.
Okay.
And then you wait for the over to be called.
Okay.
And then you're safe to wander.
Okay, and so he just.
He
knew
just
it was,
assumed.
He knew it was coming. He assumed. He did his little
Yeah.
foot slide,
Which is
called it,
not
and started
what you
walking
normally
out.
do.
And then the Australian bowler had the ball,
Yeah.
and balled him out.
So the other thing too is, and you may or may not be mentioning onto this. However, this is the thing that everyone's talking about because the moment, so the stock standard delivery, he ducked out of the bouncer. The wicketkeeper got the ball, but because he was fast and quick about it, he threw the ball straight away towards the wickets.
Yep,
In that
before he'd even
situation,
walked out.
The ball is considered live. So that means
So he's
that,
caught it. He's thrown it before anything's
Yeah.
been called.
Yeah. And then, so at that point,
So
that
it
ball
still
is still
counts.
live. It's in play, yes.
So if he'd stayed in his box, the ball
Yep.
would have hit the wickets.
He would have been fine.
And he would have been fine. And it
Yes.
would just would have looked silly for the Australians.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Which is the thing, because 2 days before that guy who
He
got
did
out
the exact same
thing.
thing. Yeah, and I saw the little video
But
of
he
him
missed-
doing
he
it.
missed.
Did he miss it?
He missed the
How-
stumps.
Isn't he like a metre away?
3 or 4.
3 or 4 meters, and he missed it.
4 or 5 minutes, maybe.
Oh my goodness!
So
so if back then, if he'd actually hit it, would it have counted, or was the Australian?
Well,
guy
if the
still in
Australian was,
his crease?
yeah, Australian guy was still in his crease.
So he was still in his crease. So I'm confused why people are all pissed off about
Oh,
the
it's
English
the
are
spirit
pissed
of the
off
game
about
thing,
this.
which is ironic that and hypocrisy.
But I'm confused, right? So the umpires called it as out, right?
Yes,
Were
well, the third umpire, yes.
Well, the third umpire was
Yeah.
he Australian?
no,
Was he
no, I don't
was
think
he
it was.
British?
No. He probably Indian, probably.
Okay,
or-
so because that's where it was happening, was it?
it was in England.
Oh, it was in England.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
it happened
usually-
in England.
So,
So
they-
he was English. So he's
There
called
was an
it.
English so on field. There was I think there was an English. And
I would
a-
assume in England the
Indian-
umpires would be English.
Well, no, because the thing is that they're worried about is the bias.
Okay, so they do have so there's no okay, so the
But-
umpires are
yeah,
non-biased.
but they have
get
the
it from
rules.
different
They go by the
areas.
rules. They go by the rules.
Yeah,
That's all it
so
is.
that's why there's 3 umpires. They probably
Yeah.
have a British, Australian, and then an outsider. I'm
yeah,
guessing.
probably.
I don't know, but so I'm confused, right? So they're pissed off because it's against the spirit of the game, even though he tried to do it beforehand.
It's kind of like
But here's the thing,
Yeah.
right? Let's
Yeah, yeah.
say this all plays out perfect, exact same way, right?
yes.
So what can Australia do to stop? Like what?
Yeah.
Like how?
Because they were noticing
Isn't that up to the umpires to go? Oh, never mind. We'll take that call back. Or are we supposed? Is our team supposed to go? No, he can stay in.
Yeah.
Like what was?
Well, that was the
who's
thing.
supposed to call
because
there?
the thing is too because there's another type of dismissal, a dismissal where you get out by if you're on the non-strikers end, so you're just the bowler's coming down past you to bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes what's happened in 2020, the short form, is that the batters on the non-strikers end they start creeping up. So if there's a single, they could get a head start on the run. So what the bowlers did is that they started running in and then go, oh, you're only creasing.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, he just taps it.
So that's like another example, and like that was.
Yeah, so they're trying to sneak.
Yeah.
And then he gets his foot out, and the baller's still got the line. He just goes.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So that's.
I've seen that. I saw the video.
So that's another controversial thing, which is again spirit of the game sort of thing.
Okay, but I'm still confused because like I understand the
the
spirit of the game.
So the spirit of the game is basically meant. Oh, this is a gentleman's sport, right?
Yeah.
Oh, we won't let that happen because that's not fair. That's not very gentlemanly.
Okay, but that's not up to the players to make that call. That's up to the umpires or game
that's the thing.
organisers.
It's like it's an unwritten law. That's not really a rule. That's the thing.
But I'm sitting there going, apparently the British fans are getting all pissed off at Australia for playing the game pretty normal.
And you know what's funny though?
Like I'll give the example you sent, Travels in the NBA, right?
Yeah.
Like they'll call them if they're a bit ridiculous and silly, but again, they generally don't really call travels in the NBA, especially if the player's on a fast break.
Yeah.
Because if the NBA player was to do it properly, they dribble up and they just flick the ball in.
Yeah.
Or they just dribble up and do a nice little dunk.
Yeah.
But instead, they want to be fancy and make it entertaining. So they're going to let them take as many steps as they want to slam it in or to reverse it in.
Which is why it was funny when the Olympics basketball happened. All the Americans were
they
getting
got a lot more
travelled.
travels. Yeah, they get so
They
many
actually
more
got
travels
called.
because they're playing the game. Yeah, they're playing the game
different
properly.
rules, different interpretations.
But they're so used to like sliding their feet.
So it's funny too because like in the recent test, so the third test which is happening now, there was one of the batters, they hit a ball and it was basically heading towards the boundary. However, fielder got the ball and it touched it before it hit the rope. But on replay, you can clearly see the player is touching the rope at the same time as touching the ball.
Does that count as
that should be counting as four runs?
4 runs because the ball's technically touched the air. Oh, okay.
But the third umpire didn't award it 4 runs because
Well, these again sometimes these things look.
And the spirit of the game, would you think? Okay, if he acknowledges that he's hit the rope, you said, "All right, no, it was 4. Sorry, guys, 4," but he didn't.
That is true, but you also got to see the funny thing about most sports is like the umpire's call counts, and part of every single game is just basically like umpires make mistakes, and
it's interpretation as well.
Unless they go through every single replay of every single shot, I nitpick everything. It's not worth it.
And that's the problem, like with AFL too, because the umpires, one umpire will say a tackle's too rough because they've slung them. Another umpire will say, "No, that wasn't fair. That was a fair tackle."
But here's the other thing: when someone says something's against the spirit of the game, it's sort of like when I hear that, I think rough play.
Yeah,
like
or cheating,
like for example,
cheating or something.
Well, for example, NBA, like purposely like holding the ball up high, and say you've got a defender, you could actually swipe them with your elbow as you bring. You've got the ball, right? You've got full control. If someone hits you, it's a foul on them. Yeah, and you can get an offensive foul for actually doing an elbow,
being aggressive.
But
or charging or whatever.
People can still do it, and they can even look to see if the refs watching and try and do it. I've versed some pretty, like I've played basketball, and I've versed some people who are pretty like aggressive. A guy got this guy on the other team. He would go for layups, right? Mm-hmm. He'd go for a layup, but when he went for a layup, he'd have his knee up. He'd stick his every single time, right? That's gonna happen, yeah. And one of our teammates like was trying to block him. So the guy goes for a layup, he gets it. Knees the guy in the balls while he's at it and gets an and one. So it's a foul.
And one,
it's a foul on
defensive
our guy.
foul.
Our guy's lying on the ground holding his ball sack, and this guy gets an extra point or an extra shot.
Oh, that's brilliant.
So he got sent off the court. I had to bloody and we knew this guy was like, I'm not sure if the guy did it on purpose. I think it was just the way he'd go for a layup. He'd go for it with his knee up really high. But I had to defend the guy for that, and I knew this was coming. So every time he went for a layup, I'd have one hand down, and I'd actually like block, and I'd jump into, like I'd be purposely like, if I'm gonna foul you either way, I'm gonna knock you to the ground.
Every ball sport,
and I actually did. I knocked the guy to the ground.
It's kind of funny. A lot of ball sports, like when you're defending, a lot of the positions that defenders are taking are the hand over the balls, and
But when you're trying to get a charge right, you're supposed to actually do that.
Yeah.
Like you're showing no sign of force towards.
Yeah, yeah.
Or even just like it's straight up.
Or hands behind your back as well as another form.
I wouldn't do the hands behind your
No.
back because if you fall over, they do that actually. That happens more in the NBA actually.
And soccer as well. Actually, soccer that's a.
It's better actually. Now that I think about it, it's probably better to do hands behind your back because when the person pushes you, you can purposely fall over and pull like a soccer stunt.
Yeah.
But like
Dive.
but like when I hear it's against what was it? It's against the spirit
of the game.
I think of when people in soccer bloody like
Dive, fake injuries.
or in basketball an elbow or in any kind of physical contact like AFL like purposely like elbowing someone with like anything forcible. Or an example I'd use for cricket specifically is, for example, the bowler purposely just chucking the ball at the guy's face or something.
Yeah, basically, or
Like-
throwing out the stumps with that.
Yeah,
Doing
like
really
if
good
if
delivery.
anything, I thought it would be against the spirit of the game because the way he balled it, the guy had to duck out of the way. Like you'd be calling that against the spirit of the
Definitely,
game.
100%.
Rather than he got him out because he walked out of his box.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Like that's against the spirit of the game. It's doing things like within the rules, but are like considered not tolerated.
especially when something's it's seen down upon, it's frowned upon.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, because that was the whole thing. Because that happened at Lord's, which is a historical sort of type venue, where the membership there, you were literally waiting for 30 or 40 years just to be part of the club.
Oh my goodness.
Just to be in the members. And the thing is that those members were like thinking they were allowed to tell the Aussie players that they're cheats and just abuse them. And then, however, because they thought they were so privileged that they were allowed to do that.
I just think it's like out of all the things to get all annoyed about, it's a simple little like.
It is the English though. They do like to complain a lot about things. Like they complain when it's 24 degrees. Apparently, it's a heat wave. So
It's El
Nino.
El Nino. That's it. I almost said El Hermano.
But like in their summer, like at 24 degrees is a heat wave almost. So
It's pretty hot.
and then it's like, oh, it's always too cold. It's too cold in England. I mean, to be fair, their beaches are pretty average too. They haven't got beaches. If you've ever been.
Is this just the Jackson rips into English?
Not really. I do
people
like the
episode?
English. They got funny accents.
Oh, yeah.
Quite a wide
What's
range
your
of accent.
heritage?
Unfortunately, English.
Oh, there you go. See.
But like that's like I'm 8th generation now Australian
Okay, there you go.
in the family line, I believe.
I got more to complain about than
Actually,
you.
no,
I got
4, 3.
Scottish in me. So
Scottish is fine. The whole reason why Scotland was formed is because they hated themselves, so they're like, let's go start our own country.
because they hated themselves.
Well, not really. That's
How were the Irish?
that's not
formed
factually
then?
correct.
How were the Irish formed? Pretty sure the Scottish had their own language, but sure.
They did. Yeah, that's true. No, actually, I don't really know. I'm not one to ask about history. Only war history.
Only war history.
Yeah. Because one of my favorite bands is called Sabaton, and they basically sing about
Their
war
songs
stories.
are about war history. Oh my goodness.
It's kind of cool though, because like they sing about a song called Buck Allen. I think his name is. Have you heard of Buck Allen?
I have not.
So he served in Papua New Guinea when the Japanese were there, and his role was he would always go carry injured soldiers and bring them back to.
Oh, I
treatment.
think I may have actually heard of him. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I have actually.
Buck Allen. I think he's from Ballarat originally.
I probably have heard.
something.
I've
He's
heard of
from
a few
Victoria.
people because they generally talk about people who go out and rescue. Was he? He was a soldier. Or
Yeah,
not?
he was a soldier,
He was
but
part of the medical unit.
Yes,
Or something.
yeah.
Yes, it does ring a bell.
So
from
he literally
from
rushed into the
history
battlefield,
class.
pick up someone who's been wounded, and rush him back.
That's right. He brought back hundreds of.
He
people.
did apparently, yeah.
That's right.
So they made his own a song about him.
There you go.
So yeah, that's how I know about Buck Allen and a lot of other.
Yeah, well,
things.
I don't really want to talk much about history at the moment
That's
because
fair.
because I've been listening to last podcast on the left, and they talk a lot lot more grim things when it
Yeah.
comes to history. They've been talking about the like they've had 3 or 4 episodes on the I should know what it's called. I've completely
A
forgotten.
40-year, 30-year war.
No, they've been talking about the atomic bomb,
Oh,
but it's
nuclear bombs
the
or something.
Manhattan Project.
Oh, the Manhattan Project.
That's the title. They've been talking
Man
about
in
the
the
Manhattan
garage.
Project from Germany when they first tried making a nuclear device, all the way up to when America finally succeeded, to Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Yeah.
And here's the funny thing: apparently, there's heaps of stuff about Hiroshima, but they don't really talk much about Nagasaki.
That's right.
And do you want to know the main reason why?
There is.
It was not as successful.
Ah, right.
Like it was not as
Not a big- not
or
as
as
big as
well
blast.
planned,
Okay.
which is kind of a
Wait,
good
wasn't what was it called Nagasaki?
Nagasaki.
Nagasaki.
I think.
Wasn't that?
I think.
I believe from I don't know if I heard this correctly. Wasn't that just a made up plan that they thought they'd just try there?
So what
I remember hearing
so
something about.
they had
Was it pre-planned or something? That one.
so it was pre-planned, but it was
Okay.
more like they had like after Hiroshima they had like 7 cities. They like this one, and Nagasaki.
Yeah. Okay.
They it was just the last one on the list, or it was on the list. They just put it on the list because they could.
Mm-hmm.
And when they were trying to drop the second bomb, they couldn't really get to some of the other cities because one of the main cities they were going to target, they set up a smoke screen.
Ah, yeah.
They purposely because they were used to air raids.
Yeah, of course.
So they'd pump up. So their factories would pump up smoke screens so that it would be harder to aim for specific targets.
Right.
So they gave up on that, and basically they didn't have enough fuel to get back to where they were. They only had enough to get to Nagasaki and then get back.
Okay.
And so they just dropped it on Nagasaki, and because it was a mountainy area, even though it was a bigger bomb, it did a lot less damage.
Yep.
But it was still pretty brutal. And they, you imagine the atomic bomb, you imagine it's just a big bomb. It's not as simple as that.
It's the radiation that gets you as well.
It's not even just that. It's just so they had people were described as basically being zombified.
Yeah. Yep.
Like they were just charcoal black.
Their skin, nothing left.
Yeah, well, they had skin. It was peeling and all
Yeah.
sorts of stuff. And these, yeah.
What's the because the places where the bombs landed, they've got a name for it.
I don't know.
It's crazy because I looked it up because there were. I went through Wikipedia one page and just looking at like the places where those bombs landed, and they got the places where the bombs exactly landed. They've got names for it.
Probably, but it's just. And the funny thing is that in one of not the last episode but the previous one, they were talking about basically was it necessary, and it turns out again, I haven't done research, these guys have, but that's just what they've said. Apparently Japan was already going to surrender to America before the first bomb was dropped.
Yeah, right.
And that it's it really they said it would
They were advised to surrender, I thought, but.
So they were basically like up. They were going to surrender. There was nothing they could do. They were trying to figure out how the best way to surrender, but America wanted a total surrender.
Yeah.
Which is different.
Yes.
Which is different
Yeah.
between
Yeah.
coming up with a
Definitely.
truce and all this stuff.
Yeah, right.
But so if they hadn't dropped the bomb on that, Japan would have surrendered, and they probably would have still had an emperor.
Yes, that's right.
But because it was a total surrender, they got rid of the whole governmental body / royalty class and all that.
Yeah. Gone are the days of the emperors, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, I guess
Probably
that's true.
Probably go for
For now.
the best.
For now,
I don't know.
once society breaks down,
Yeah.
you'll start seeing a lot more emperors again and kings. And
I love how we went
queens and
from. I
generals.
love how we went from talking about the cricket
To the-
to the bombs.
I didn't really want to talk about too much because I've been listening to it over the past
it's fine.
couple
It's
of
all
weeks,
good.
so it's
all
in
good.
my head.
It's fresh.
It's
Yeah,
true.
that's all right.
We're going to go to your subject.
Yeah, so I'm like, how do I cheer this back up? Well, Troy, when I've been playing Pokemon Diamond and Pearl and Gen 5 games on my DS, I was thinking to myself, man, I miss being a kid and all the things I got to do and see and play and whatever.
Yes.
And I was just thinking, oh yeah, what kind of things was I doing when I was like 5 years old to 10 years old, or from
Same things you're doing
mid-teens
now.
well, yes and no.
Why do I imagine like a little young Jackson? He grabs like an electrical cord and plugs it in.
Can I tell you one of my?
And his hair goes.
Can I tell you one of my favorite early memories when I was a child? This is an outdoor activity. So my first motorcycle was a Yamaha PW50. PW50.
Same. I had a Pee-wee 50.
My first experience riding it was we went to the sand dunes where you can literally just go anywhere. And so I got ready, all dressed up, got my helmet on, ran, and I lasted 5 seconds because I ran into an open car door.
What? Really? Wow. What
And
the
I remember
heck?
they going, Jackson!
Are you for real? How did you manage that with a Pee-wee 50?
Because I've never had a motorbike before, obviously, and I never really know how to do anything.
It didn't have gears or anything.
No! Hence the name PW50 because it went wing.
I used to love my Pee-wee 50.
And I didn't really understand the concept of steering. Because
You know what my memory of a Pee-wee 50 was?
what was that?
It was going up a little, like it was just a little mound on the hill at a friend's property.
Mm-hmm.
It was going up that, doing that like 5 times, and then I went to my brother's. Yeah, I think I can handle the big jump. The big jump, it goes. I want to show it to the camera. It goes up like a normal jump, then goes
Straight down.
and then goes.
Whoops. Okay,
So it had
whoops.
3 little bends in
Yeah,
it. And
yeah.
you're supposed to jump over the whole,
whole
thing.
thing.
Well, I went. Ew. It just drove straight down into it and fell over.
Oh, that's cute. I can totally imagine that.
My next memory was and I'm not even sure if it was with a Pee-wee 50. I think it was with another motorbike, a slightly bigger one. Is same property. They had a big long gravel driveway that went down really like. It was about the driveway is probably about. I want to say 4 kilometers long.
Right. Okay.
But it was downhill through a little lake gully, uphill again, and it had this one point where you go up the gully a bit, you curve. There was a nice curve. And I took the curve a little too strong, and I fell, and the bike landed on top of my leg.
On your leg, yeah.
And nothing happened to me,
Okay.
but because I must have had my hand on the accelerator still, and it was just as loud as I was like, ah!
Let go of the
And my brother comes riding up, picks up the bike, and I'm like, it's got me, it's murdering me, I'm dying. And he's like, calm down, you're fine, nothing happened.
Oh, jeez. I'm just thinking of the editing now. How that came through every
It's
microphone
going to be
in the
loud,
world.
yes. It'll be fine.
It's fine. Yeah.
Just
no.
mute it.
So
Just put it really, really low.
Motorbikes really followed through my childhood and my teenagehood because a lot of my cousins had motorbikes too growing up. So it was always fun and exciting to go to their places on weekends or wherever and just ride motorbikes all day almost.
See, because of those experiences, it kind of put me off motorbikes a little bit.
I mean, that's fair.
But
You
when I
fall
was a
back
bit
down, you
older
get
as
back
a
up again.
teenager,
Yeah.
I didn't really have a motorbike. I couldn't really get a motorbike anyway. I couldn't really afford one and all that. We had a 4-wheeler at one
Oh
point.
yeah, that's a bit safe.
And that was like on the property in 72 acres in Gembrook. That was nice. But honestly, you go up you go up the track with this 4-wheeler. You go and then back down again. Do that 3 or 4 times, and you're done. Like, I'm like, what
next?
What next? What do I do now? I haven't got
Roll
any
it
jumps
over.
here or anything like that. I haven't got this or that. It was quite funny. We had a friend. I had a friend who came over for my birthday, and this is a big foresty, bushy property, right? And we're doing stuff. We're just hanging out, friends of mine. We're playing video games. We're doing stuff outside because we've got this big property, and we need to chop some firewood for the fire. And this guy had never chopped firewood before.
Oh no.
And he was
Give him
about
an
12.
axe.
He was about 12, and he never chopped firewood. And I was like, I'm like, he's trying. How do you do it? And I'm like, you just pick up, bang, bang. I've done it so many times. He struggles the first time, but then when he figures it out, he chops wood. And he's like,
I'm doing it.
that's amazing. He spent the next half an hour, or maybe an hour. We all start doing other things. He spends the next hour chopping wood. And he's having the time of his life. He's having a blast.
Dude, the fire's ready. No, I'm not having fun.
Yeah, we had a big bonfire and everything.
That's funny. It's funny because I think a lot of our childhood, like both of us, was involved on country life or farm life or something like that. Property life.
For me, it was to a degree, not
Yeah.
that much, but
Because
because
I didn't grow up on a farm, but my cousins lived 20 minutes away and they were on a farm, and so like bonfires was quite regularly. We'd make damper and billy and have teas and all that, and coffee, whatever. But like another thing too was going back to guns and crossbows. We'd often have like an air rifles and we'd try to shoot certain pest birds.
So I'll just finish up by saying, so you know how I told you about this property with the 4 kilometer driveway? That was in Belgrave South.
Okay. Oh.
That was there, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's funny. You know when you go through the town and you start going down the hill where it becomes an 80-kilometer road?
Yes.
The property on the right, that was their property. So that big long patch of hilly area, that was that person's property.
All right, I know exactly what it is. Bam.
Okay. Yeah. I don't think they live there anymore.
Oh, fair enough. We didn't want to dox them anyway.
But yeah, we lived like 20 houses down because after that property, that's when you enter the town, and that's when it just becomes a house after house.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So back to this. So we went spotlighting as well. That was good fun. We weren't really allowed to do it too much because we obviously didn't have a license, but the uncle did. So everyone took it turns a little bit.
We had to go cow tipping.
Cow tipping.
Cow tipping.
We didn't have cows in our area.
Oh,
Our area was more dry farming,
would have loved to have done.
It was more like lamb, sheep, and then it was just like grain, like any sorts of grain, wheat, corn, whatever. Not corn, wheat or barley or cannoli. Canola. It's been a while. I can't remember. It's the yellow stuff. Canola. You make it oil out of it. Canola oil.
I don't know, but okay. So I'll just say it out loud. Our subject for today, in case you hadn't guessed, was
everything.
It's everything. No, we can't. It was basically then versus now.
Yeah.
Jackson was originally talking about video games versus now, but then we back.
Well, because we motorbike. Because motorbikes was
yes.
the first thing that I sort of distinctly remember.
But the funny thing is, motorbikes haven't really changed that
No,
much.
that's true.
But
we don't have them anymore.
But you don't ride them anymore, exactly.
And so like, so after motorbikes, I was mountain bikes. And,
Oh yeah, true. Yes.
but yeah. So other things we did, like, so watching and playing stuff. So back in my library we went to back in Geraldton, they had access to VHSs. So I remember hiring the Pokemon movies from the libraries.
Pokemon, the first movie.
Yeah. I cried at that movie. I
I
cannot
did
believe.
too, of course. Who wouldn't cry?
I
at
mean,
that movie? You see Pikachu cry. How can you? Not
I know.
Cry?
I hate that.
How can you not tear up as a 6-year-old kid or 4 or 5-year-old kid?
I know.
7, 8.
I know.
You're gonna tear up a little.
I know.
But here's the funny thing. Like, we talk about that then versus now.
Yeah.
So
And I go to a library ever again. I've never been to a library.
So I'll give you. That's
Only
true.
school libraries,
Well,
actually.
well, there you go. Libraries then versus now.
Yeah.
How there are many libraries still around.
The internet's basically killed their libraries almost.
Essentially.
Although the only difference between libraries then and now is that libraries are good for in-person things. So like if you're doing little learning events or
I think
there's
libraries
speakers.
will still exist simply because of the fact that, like, if you've got the internet with you, odds are you're more likely to read a book and like pick up the information from the book than you are if you read it on your phone or on a computer, especially in a certain environment like a library.
Yeah, and I was actually going to say this in the last episode, but I forgot to. This is why games have gotten somewhat easier to degree now, because we've got the access to the internet and people have got guides and how-tos and all that on there now. So.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that. The fact that, how I struggle to find games that I like and want to play. I think that's partly because there's just so many options out there.
Yeah. Back in the day, there was only a certain amount.
Yeah, I could only, like, when I think about it, I'd play the same game over and over and over again because I only had those 5 games.
Yeah.
Or those 6 games.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed them. But now I've got access to millions of games and I'm sitting there going, like, then,
what do I do?
Then what do I do?
Yeah. Do you think anything that you did or growing up as a kid that you liked or doing is influenced to where you are now? Like, are you still doing similar things, or are you playing similar things, or watching similar things as your kid as you are now?
Well, that brings me to another example of something that's then versus now that's changed quite a bit is anime, for example.
Yeah.
Like, I grew up watching Dragon Ball Z and all that, and and all those other cartoon shows. And what I've noticed now is it's quite interesting how, as my life has changed, I've adapted. I've started off watching cartoons, then I started watching anime. Then it turned into reading manga as well as watching anime. Now it's transferred over to reading and even watching now, because they've finally started releasing them, is manhwas or Chinese anime or Chinese cartoons.
Okay, interesting.
Like, right now I'm reading something called Versatile Mage, and I read it ages ago, like a good year and a half or so ago. But there was only like 300 or 200 something chapters. Now there's over 1,000, and I'm only up to chapter 600.
Yeah, I guess the one I can relate to is Asterix comics. So as a kid, I've always had an Asterix comic or 3 or 4.
But they haven't really changed.
Well, yeah, they have, because the original illustrators and authors died.
I mean, yeah, but like, it's still the same animation
style. Still the same art style, art style.
Yeah, true, art style, and
same humour type comedy.
Same humour, there you go. Like, things change in that regard. But the example I'll give with anime, for example, is anime has changed in the sense that, like, for example, Dragon Ball Z versus Dragon Ball Super. Dragon Ball Z, good animation. Dragon Ball Super, bad animation. No matter what, anyone who I'm completely wrong, like, they don't make it like they used to. It's better. The older style is better. And to be fair, they could probably make a new version of that style that's even better.
Yeah.
Like, they could make it more colourful, but also still have the quality. You look at the animation style for new Dragon Ball Z. It's horrible. They look all the characters don't look at all buffy. Like, they looked ridiculous. Like, they looked almost goofily buff in the old style. But now they're just super skinny and like they don't look like people. They look like bloody.
That's the idea. They're not meant to be people, are they? Or
I mean, some of them are aliens and all that.
Saiyans?
They are Saiyans, yes.
Yeah.
So, but they're not all. Some of them aren't Saiyans. Some of them are
Frieza,
normal
for example.
humans.
What's Frieza meant to be?
Frieza's called a frost demon.
Of course he is.
I don't know if
That's
that's I don't know if that's the official name,
Yeah,
but I
okay.
don't know if that's what people have come up with or what the writer. I haven't checked, but I'm pretty sure. I think the writer has actually said that.
Yeah. Okay.
But yes, he's part of the frost demon race.
Yeah. One thing I guess with video games have massively changed. You mentioned that. Books, anime.
All right, but
Fast food's never changed.
I'll stop. I'll just finish up with the
Go
anime
on,
thing
of
by
course.
saying, but the main issue with anime changing is all that plot stuff.
Yeah.
It's just become all that junk essentially.
the fan service.
The stories
I keep
haven't
saying
been
that
that
all the time.
interesting anymore.
Yeah.
But fast food definitely has changed.
Yeah, no, it has.
For example, there's a lot more of it.
Yeah, more options, especially now because now we've got like 20 years ago we wouldn't have had a single
Subway.
Taco Bell
Nope. Now we've got them in the area.
everywhere
which is nice.
in Melbourne. Almost.
Not everywhere, but I still haven't gone to one.
You haven't gone to Taco Bell.
Yeah. The only closest one to me, I think, is near your place. The one up there.
Because yours the one we got.
The one closer to me still isn't open yet. There might be one further back, but I doubt
That's
it.
surprising you haven't had Taco Bell yet. Okay.
But we live just far enough out that it still hasn't appeared yet.
The one thing I will say is that
But-
Hungry Jack's always seem the same. However, one that's declined rapidly or badly is Pizza Hut. Because Pizza Hut used to have all-you-can-eat buffets in them. I kid you not.
I didn't even know Pizza Hut was still around.
It is, but it's not.
You know the thing that confuses me, right? So I don't know how Domino's is a thing still.
Yeah, I know. You've said this before
I know,
on a
I've said
podcast.
it, but it still bothers me. I just don't get it. It just doesn't make sense. They're tiny. They got like the pizza isn't even that nice. You don't get bang for your buck. The only thing is, is it that fast? Are people they want pizza that badly that they need it within minutes?
I don't know.
Seconds?
It's kind of funny that you mentioned that the stores of them are small because I remember the Domino's in Knox City. It's right next. It's part of a 7-Eleven. It's literally the one building split in the middle. Well, not really the middle. More favourite towards the 7-Eleven, but there's a tiny section of that building that's a Domino's.
Also, we mentioned this before because we had a fast food episode.
Yes. Well. Oh yeah, we did too. Yeah, but
But we weren't comparing them to now.
Yeah.
And I'd have to say, for example, KFC, used to just only have original recipe. You got to remember they introduced the Zinger Burger, at least in Australia. I think it was in 2008.
Really, it's only that recent.
I think I'm going to look.
I mean, I'm
pretty sure it wasn't around in the 90s.
I'm not gonna question you.
I'm going to Google. I want to know now that I've thought about it because I remember it just appearing one day.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, this
Where'd
is
that come
the
from?
greatest thing ever. And I think it was Wicked Wings and Zinger Burgers at the same time. And I was
Right.
like, these are amazing. I will never eat original recipe again.
Again.
And when I was a teenager, I never did.
Yeah, right.
When I was between the ages of 12 to about 22, I think I only had original recipe 10 times.
Wow.
And that was like it's like once a year or something
I
ridiculous.
say, out of the two of us, you're probably the more in the know of KFC than because you have it more than me.
I mean, I haven't had it that much
Nearly.
lately. I've transferred over to Hungry Jack's.
That's fair.
Preferably
Good
now.
choice,
I used to
good
hate
choice.
Hungry Jack's, but that was because bad experience when I was younger. I had some chicken nuggets from there.
Oh my gosh, I need to do this right now. Okay,
I know I've said it before,
this is
and I'll say it again.
This is called this little segment's called Why Jackson Hates McDonald's and will never be sponsored by McDonald's. The supposedly McSpicy burger is the most tamest of all spices. Now I understand why they do it, but you can compare it to like the lightest spice that you get at Nando's.
Not that.
No.
No, the Zinger Burger came out in like 1984.
Oh wow.
But that's
In Australia though?
I don't know. I'm about to check.
Okay. Yeah, don't get the McSpicy. The McSpicy is not a McSpicy. It's just a burger with, like.
2017.
Really?
Burger was originally released in 2017. It is made up of a spicy fillet. Really? 2017. Is that right?
That can't be right. Maybe they redid the recipe. Maybe it was a new recipe.
Maybe I'm going to double check that because that feels like it's way.
That's way too recent.
Our Zinger boxes only in Australia. Oh wow, Zinger boxes are in Australia, the UK, and India. They're the only places that sell Zinger boxes.
That wouldn't surprise me.
That's interesting.
Because Americans, I mean, that is weird though. Why wouldn't America have Zinger boxes? And I'm going to redo my rant because I want your attention on this, Troy.
Yep. Redo your what?
My rant about Macca's.
Oh, okay, please do.
So I want you to log off your phone.
Okay, why?
Because this is why McDonald's will never sponsor us, and I hate McDonald's forever.
Okay.
Their McSpicy,
You better edit that out.
I am,
Yes.
is not this. It's not spicy at all. There's
the
no spice.
McSpicy. When was it ever spicy?
If anything, it should be called the It should be called the McChicken with
The McLame.
McLean. They should call it the McLean. It's just a McChicken burger with the spicy aioli.
Do you know what?
It's like the tamest spice though.
Do you know what's changed at Macca's versus in the past? And this is
Service.
actually no, for me specifically
Oh.
food wise, and this is sort of the thing that sort of pushed me away even more. And ironically, like they only changed it in the past, I want to say 8 years.
Yep.
Do you remember the chicken bacon deluxe?
Yes.
Chicken bacon deluxe was the most amazing
Yeah,
burger
I used to get it all
ever.
the time.
Oh, it was so like it was almost up. It was just. I reckon it was better than the Zinger burger. I'd have to say.
It was almost as good as the bacon deluxe as well from
Yeah.
Hungry Jack's.
Yeah, and they when they had I don't know what they did with the cheese, but the cheese and the mayo and the chicken and the bacon, it was just perfect. It was just it just had that flavor. It just had that little kick to it. Maybe they were poisoning us. Maybe it had some sort of chemical that was really like not very good for you.
Yeah.
But there was something that just, you take a bite and you're like, oh, this is amazing. Now, first of all, they don't even have a chicken bacon deluxe.
No, they
don't
should.
even call it. They had a chicken deluxe. They changed it to that. Then they just removed the chicken deluxe and just made a chicken classic.
Royale.
No, they already had
No.
that.
I can't remember.
They had like a chicken deluxe. Maybe they still got that, but they changed it. They got rid of the chicken bacon deluxe and changed it to chicken something else. And then now you have to add bacon if you want it. And it's just the flavor's complete. It just tastes like a normal chicken burger.
Yeah. I forgot to say this. So the McSpicy, right? Mm-hmm. It is less spicy than the red capsicum spice dip.
Oh wow!
So because Tish had one of her friends who recently had a child come over and visit, and Savannah, Tisha bought these two dips, an avocado and this red capsicum spicy dip. Sorry, I was saying dip, and that dip was spicier than the McSpicy.
Wow!
So if you want to enhance, hey McDonald's, if you're listening, if you're somehow still listening, Macca's, in your McSpicy, replace your red aioli spice sauce with the red capsicum spicy dip. Honestly, you'll get a lot more positive response, because I don't think your McSpicy deserves to be called McSpicy at all, because it's got zero spice.
So do you know what? I had to look up the brand, but do you know Steggles?
Yes,
You know,
I've heard of Steggles. I've heard of Steggles. Yeah.
So you know, you can get them at Coles. That
Yep.
they do chicken tenders and all that.
Yes.
So there was they were selling chicken wings, like crumb chicken wings. This probably should have been a thing that sort of should have clicked in my brain. Is that they weren't in the chicken section? They were all the way at the back near the ice with the ice creams and all that. They were these Steggles chicken wings, right?
Yeah.
I bought them. I just looked at them and went, oh, those kind of look like Wicked Wings and all that. They look like they've crumbed really well, and they look really yummy. I bought them, and I told you about this the other day. I had them, right, or maybe I didn't tell you. I told someone else. I cooked about 6 of them. I ate the first 2.
Oh yes.
They were the spiciest. They weren't the spiciest wings I've ever had, but they were pretty far up there. I was like, oh my goodness, what the heck? Like I thought it was. I'd cooked it. It was too hot for me to eat. Like it was too. But it was actually a little bit hot. But it was the spice that really tipped it over the edge. No. I'm gonna. They weren't tenders. They were chicken. They were wings.
Oh, wing. Here we go.
Drumsticks and wings.
Hot wings. Coles. Yeah. I'm trying to see a picture of them though.
They and you might see
Those
the
ones?
picture. No, not those. I think that was Steggles. They might have been a different brand. They might have been is Ingham Steggles or not? Steggles, however it's pronounced.
Ingham and Singles are separate,
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I believe. Yeah, wing nibbles. They don't come out with nibbles.
I'm gonna search hot.
Buffalo wing, chicken wing. Might be these ones. I don't think it's these ones.
Hot wings. Here they are. They're Hanburno.
Who?
I'll
Show me.
Limited stock. Yeah, I wonder why.
Oh, dang it. No.
I'll show you the photo when it comes
Don't
up.
be sold out. I want to try my spice.
Here you go. Those
Or habaneros.
habaneros. I should have read. it. Yeah, it's got 4 chilies out of 5.
Oh, that sounds great.
They were so good and so horrible at the same time. But I love spicy food. I had to stop, have some milk, have some more, stop, have some water, have some more. I had to wait until the last 2 were like a bit colder, so they could handle the heat and the spice.
Oh, I need to buy
But the
these.
next day, I only got 5 hours sleep, so I woke up with like really like bad stomach cramps to the point where I had to spend a good 15 minutes on the toilet
And
before.
the day off work.
No, I didn't take the day off
that
work.
wasn't that day. Okay.
Yeah, no, that was the day off before that.
Oh yeah.
And that was because of bad KFC.
The place I was working at yesterday, there's a little cafe down the bottom corner on the building, and they were selling spicy garlic bread.
Oh,
And
that sounds yummy.
I was like, "Oh, I'll have 3 pieces, please." And she went, "But they're spicy." I'm like, "Yeah, I love spice. Give it to me." Like, and after a while, I felt the spice. It was probably like a 6 out of 10 for spice, 7 out of 10 for spice. But it was still nice and tasty because it was with the garlic. It just really fused well together.
The funny thing is how
Spice.
the thing that and I kind of like this about my body, I guess you could say, is that I love spicy food and I really enjoy it, but my body's like red face, sweating all over, like, and I'm just like, oh. And people are like, "Oh, you all right? Oh, maybe you should." No, I'm good.
Because I think that volcano ramen, I haven't had that since we went there.
That was really.
That was so good.
I thought mine was like I was like, this is pretty spicy, and then I tried yours, and I was like, oh wow,
that was so good.
I'm almost glad I didn't get.
I haven't had it since though. I want to go back. I just haven't had the chance to.
That made your face red and sweaty, didn't it?
I know, but it was so damn good. Like
I would have hated it. But only because if I'm going to get ramen, I don't really want spicy ramen. I'm okay with a little spice in the ramen, but I don't want... Because I've had spicy ramen before, but I don't want hot spicy ramen. I'd rather have a spicy burger or spicy chicken wings or anything else. I don't like spicy pizza. I don't want a spicy pizza. It depends on what flavour you're after.
Yeah. We're getting a bit close to the end of the time.
If the spice ruins the other flavours, I don't want it unless it's something that doesn't have that great a flavour.
It's kind of funny because as a kid, I hated spice. Anything spicy at all, I would have not had it.
Really?
And then, But then, this is 2013, 14. I was introduced to Nando's and my life changed forever.
Nando's are shit.
I mean, it's a good way to get started though. But yeah, I love it. It's so good. Because my mum makes curries.
You know you can buy the sauces separately.
I know you can. And the salt as well. You can do the same thing with salt.
You can buy them at Coles now.
Yeah, the salt as well.
Oh.
Yeah. You can buy the salt, peri salt. Anyway.
I don't really. I wouldn't do that. Not a fan of their salt.
Yeah.
Their chips and all that. Their shits.
Wow. Can't believe better than Macca's chips at least.
Yeah. Well, you can't. They're at the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, easily.
Macca's don't sell chips to people because they like them. They just sell them because they're selling you a meal.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. Yeah. All right. Well, I think we'll leave it there because we've reached the hour mark somehow.
Yeah.
You know what the title? You know what the title of this episode is going to be, Troy?
What's that?
How did we go from talking about cricket to bombs?
Oh, that'll be funny.
Sorry, I'm going to leave that in post.
We went to fast food. It's just as soon as we think of old things to new, we think of fast food.
Yeah.
The other thing was phones, the evolution of phones.
Oh my gosh, yeah, we should quickly touch on that. I had a Telstra ZTE phone. Mm-hmm. If you knew what they were,
I got a rough idea. Isn't it like that big?
Yes, rough, a bit bigger, slightly bigger.
Yeah, it's a small one.
See if I can find a Telstra ZTE phone.
Computers.
No, that's
ladders. How ladders used to be versus now.
Ladders
used to be wooden.
Oh dang it! No, I can't seem to.
Another thing is,
away.
I was originally going to just go through like one thing after another because you could go with tools, for example, for trades and work equipment. Like things are constantly changing, and you're getting new and innovative tools to get things done faster.
It was kind of like
programming tools, AI helping with programming. In fact, I need to get an AI to start editing videos. That way I can just record them. It'd be perfect. If only I had a fast enough computer.
It was kind of like, I mean, this is not accurate at all, but that one there, it was kind of like that.
Oh yeah, I got a rough. That's
like
what I was thinking of.
Less of a smartphone.
It's not.
There
a smartphone.
it is. That's the one I had.
That's the exact one I was thinking of.
Yeah,
the brick. It was a proper brick.
Oh, I don't know who can see that, but yeah.
You got to stand and put in.
Oh, it's a HSDPA phone.
Good. Would you like to know the funny thing? I had a Telstra Z. It was the ZTE for work, and it was basically that, right? Or was it ZTE? I forget. But it was basically that, but a smartphone version. It was meant to be a brick smartphone, but it was incredibly slow as a smartphone. I started using my proper phone for work, like my private phone for work stuff, because it was so much faster. Mm-hmm. At sending emails, at taking photos, at doing everything. And then when it finally broke, I was able to get a Samsung as a work phone, and I'm so glad I was able to do that.
Yeah.
Because I started using my work phone for work stuff.
Do you remember also back in the day on phones, you text a number and you pay in credit on your phone for a ringtone?
Oh, yeah, but I never did that. I barely used my phone. I didn't get a phone until just before smartphones came out because I didn't really need one.
No, that's fair.
No, I remember texting with a smartphone. I remember doing the little... I
remember the sounds it made.
No.
Actually, no, that's the Samsung.
No, do you remember you'd have to push, like... You'd have to look and you'd have to... when you're texting, you'd have to press 111 to get to C. So you go 111 222 A B Well, not Blitzle. Like it would be like 1-888 445 1 1 1.
I did have a flip phone, but it was a Samsung flip phone, and I broke the hinge right off.
Oh, the flip. You can't.
Sorry, that was the only time I had a Samsung.
Oh, it's funny to think about how like they've gone backwards.
Yeah, a little bit.
That's another thing we can talk about. How things have started reverse.
Maybe we can do that for next episode.
For example, these controllers. Everything. They look surprisingly similar to what I had when I had. Come on, it's like a Super Nintendo.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. No, I was confused. The layout. Yeah. Okay, I got you. Yeah. The layout's similar.
That is so satisfying, dude.
It is, isn't it?
The click and the sound.
Yeah, that's how they got the name, the Switch. Because when you,
I know, but do you know what I really like about it? Is that like the little blue and the little red that comes in the side, and the fact that my ones, because they're different colors, they
purple and that's it.
They really do think of almost everything.
That's Nintendo. We talked all about Nintendo last podcast. If you want to listen to our talk about gaming for a long while, just go listen to that one. Otherwise, thanks for guys watching. Check out our socials.
Yeah, I'm done.
I'll see you next time.
Check out our socials.
I'll check out your socials.
We don't have any socials.
Socials.
I'm not a social person.
Anti-social.